We are the people of the future. Yes, as I think about having my children, and he came into her life out of the blue. She was 40 and getting over her breakup. He was 25 years old, very nice, and promised her everything. But what began as the most talked about relationship in Hollywood ended in Demi Moore's darkest episode. She's finally telling the whole story now that she's 62. They told no one about the loss, the threesome she wishes she hadn't had, and the drug abuse that almost killed her. This is the truth about what happened between Demi and Ashton. She was born in Roswell, New Mexico, on November 11th, 1962. From the beginning, her life was hard. Her mother had a hard time taking care of her because her father had left before she was born. Things got worse when Demi was only 15 and was betrayed in a terrible way. She wrote in her autobiography that her mother let an older guy hurt her for $500. For years, this hurt her deeply and made her feel bad. Her home life was a mess. Both of her parents drank a lot, and the family moved around a lot. Dimitri never felt safe or steady until she was 14 years old. She had been hurt over 30 times. She went through something that no child should when she was only 12. Her mom tried to kill herself. Demi had to use her little hands to pull pills out of her mom's mouth while her stepdad held her down. She had to grow up way too quickly after that. Demi's school wasn't any better. She had trouble reading and writing, and she had to have surgery on both eyes because of a health problem. She quit school when she was 16 and moved out on her own. To make money, she did a lot of different jobs like modeling and collecting debts. She got married to rock singer Freddy Moore when she was 17. She wanted to leave her troubled past behind, but they were only married for 4 years. Demi didn't give up, no matter what. She kept going because she wanted a better future. Demi's first big chance came when she was 19. She was cast as a reporter named Jackie Templeton on the soap show General Hospital. More than 1,000 women tried out for the part, but Demi stood out. Each show only paid her $750. But this part was the start of something bigger. She played Jackie, a tough and driven woman who wasn't often seen on TV at that time. Both viewers and producers were pleased by Demi's performance. Off-screen, Demi had a big problem. She was having trouble with addiction. She had a lot of fun and often partied for days. Joel Schumacher, who directed her, stepped in when he saw how good she could be. He made sure she had someone with her all the time while she filmed her next big movie, St. Elmo's Fire, which helped her stay clean. She was able to change her life with this help. The movie St. Elmo's Fire, which Demi was in 1985, was a big hit. Young stars like Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez were in the movie, which was about a group of friends figuring out how to be adults. Demi played Jules, a party girl who had problems, which was a lot like some of the problems she had in real life. But it wasn't easy to get the part. Joel Schumacher told her she had to get clean or lose the job. Demi made the choice to fight her problem, and she did. The company even paid for someone to stay with her while she was filming to make sure she didn't get off track. Demi joined the Brat Pack because of the movie, a group of young stars on the rise in the 1980s. The players didn't like the term, but it made them famous and got a lot of attention. Demi's role in St. Elmo's Fire made more opportunities available to her. Her big roles in films like Ghost and About Last Night soon made her one of the main stars in Hollywood. People still talk about the Brat's Pack after all these years. A documentary called Brat came out in 2024, where Demi and her co-stars talked about that time. There are even plans for a follow-up to St. Elmo's Fire, where the original group, including Demi, might get back together. With the movie Ghost in 1990, Demi Moore became a big star. Even though it only cost $22 to $23 million to make, the movie was a huge hit, earning $505.7 million around the world. This movie made a lot of money. It was the third most successful movie of all time at the time. It was the most rented movie in the US in 1991 because so many people loved it. Moore played Molly Jensen in Ghost, and her acting moved people deeply. Unchained Melody became the theme song for the scene with Patrick Swayze and the pottery wheel, and is still thought of as one of the most famous movie scenes ever. Her short haircut in the movie also became popular around the world, and women all over copied it. It was also important to Moore personally that the movie did well. After Ghost, Bruce Willis's movie Die Hard 2 also did very well at the box office. At one point, both of their pictures were the most popular ones in theaters at the same time. This didn't happen to another married Hollywood couple for 34 years. Moore was nominated for a Golden Globe and won a Saturn Award for Best Actress because of how well Ghost did. This shows how much both reviewers and fans liked her work. It wasn't just a love story. It was different for Hollywood because it had romance, comedy, and supernatural parts all at the same time. It showed that films with original ideas could still be big hits after Ghost or continued to shine in big roles. This made filmmakers want to try telling stories in more creative ways in the years that followed. She was in the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson in 1992. The movie made more than $243 million around the world, and its lead actress, Lieutenant Commander Joan Galloway, proved she could handle a serious, mostly male-cast movie. Moore was in Indecent Proposal in 1993, which made a huge amount of money at the box office, $267 million, on a budget of $38 million. The movie made me think about something. For $1 million, would a married woman sleep with a stranger? Moore played Diana Murphy, and her role caused a lot of discussion about right and wrong in relationships. But people also said bad things about the part, that the film treated women like things. After the fact, Moore said that the reaction she got during this time was one of the hardest times in her career. Even so, she kept taking on risky parts because she saw them as a way to fight against what society thinks women should be like. Moore's career took an even bigger risk when he made two films in the mid-1990s that caused a lot of trouble. She played a stripper in the 1996 movie Striptease. Many people saw the movie because of its risky subject and Moore's bare scenes. For the part, she got $12.5 million, which made her the highest-paid actor in Hollywood at the time. Then, in 1997, Moore was in G.I. Jane. In this movie, she played the first woman to become a Navy SEAL. Moore shaved her head in front of the camera and did a lot of her own moves to get ready for the part. She worked out hard too, getting stronger and cutting her body fat down to 10%. Moore showed two different sides in these parts. She loved being a woman and a sexual being in Striptease. When she was in G.I. Jane, she played a tough guy. This caused arguments about the roles of men and women in Hollywood. Moore herself thought about this and said that portraying a stripper made women sad and portraying a soldier made guys sad. These films caused a lot of trouble, but they also made Moore an even bigger star. But the criticism and attention from the public had a big effect on her. Moore wrote in her 2019 autobiography that this time was the start of a hard time in her personal life, when she had problems with drugs and her body image. Marriage to artist Freddy Moore when Demi Moore was only 17 years old was a big event in her life. On February 8, 1980, this took place. They weren't in love when they got married. It was more about getting away from the pain of losing her dad. In her autobiography, Inside Out, written many years later, she said this. She wasn't even excited or happy the night before the wedding. Instead, she was on the phone with a man she met on a movie set. The marriage didn't seem like it would work even before it began. She used Freddie's last name as her fake name, which she kept with her whole career. Even while they were married, they worked on songs together. One of them, It's Not a Rumor, was a small hit, but it was hard to be with them. Demi was still very young and trying to figure out who she was while dating an older man. She later said that she broke up the marriage because she knew inside that it wasn't right. Even though it stopped in 1985, it changed the way she thought about love, trust, and herself. But Demi and Bruce Willis's relationship began like a scene from a movie. In 1987, they met at a movie premiere. At the time, Demi was engaged to Emilio Estevez, another star. There was a clear spark between Demi and Bruce. After 4 months, Bruce asked her to marry him while they were in Las Vegas for a boxing match. On November 21st, they got married right then and there. 1987. Though it was hasty, it worked for a while. They became one of the most popular couples in Hollywood. Bruce was becoming a big star after Die Hard, and Demi was making a lot of money and was one of the best-paid actors of all time. They had 3 girls together. Girl Scout was born in 1991, and Tallulah was born in 1994. They worked different jobs, though, and had different ideas about what a family should be like. Bruce wanted Demi to spend more time at home, but she was making records by making $12.5 million for Striptease and didn't seem to be slowing down. Even though things were hard, they were able to stay together for a long time. They were even in the movie Mortal Thoughts together. But after 11 years of marriage, they split up in 1998. In contrast to many Hollywood divorces, theirs was surprisingly calm. They stayed good friends. They raised their kids together and even went to each other's weddings later on. The way they raised their mixed family showed other divorced couples that they can still help each other. Demi's biggest problem during all of this was juggling her job and being a mom. We heard about her in 1988, but she didn't slow down. By 1991, she was in the news when she posed naked for the cover of Vanity Fair while she was pregnant with Scout. That picture became famous, letting everyone know that being a mom didn't mean hiding your body or feeling bad about it. Her home life and work life had to work together very well. On the set of G.I. Jane, she built a bedroom for her little girl. She did a lot, but she often felt bad that she wasn't there enough. She made the big choice to leave Hollywood and move to Idaho after she broke up with Bruce. She wanted her daughters to live normal lives, away from the attention of everyone, even if it meant taking a break from her job. This choice showed that being a mom was the most important thing to her. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher met at the New York opening of Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, in 2003. At that time, Demi was 40 and Ashton was 25. They felt an instant bond, even though they were 15 years apart in age. The cute and funny Ashton made Demi want to be with her. After only one day of meeting, they talked on the phone for 8 hours about their hopes and ideas for life. This deep talk set the tone for their quick-moving relationship. Ashton had met Demi's children and her ex-husband Bruce Willis just 3 weeks after they met. It was brave and unexpected of Ashton to ask Demi to marry him only 2 months into their engagement. He planned a peaceful lunch for midnight on the Santa Barbara beach and used rose petals to spell out "Marry Me." The ring was a $250,000 Asher-cut diamond that weighed 5 carats. By the 4th month, they had moved in together, and a company called Catalyst Films was born. It became clear that they were a Hollywood power couple when their first movie, Beauty and the Geek, was a big hit. But their relationship had to deal with a terrible problem. When Demi lost the baby 6 months into her pregnancy, even though the death was very painful, they were able to help each other through grief counseling 3 times a week for months. Later, Ashton said that this tragedy made him realize he was ready to be a dad, which made their bond even stronger. Their 15-year age difference caught the attention of the media and became a big topic of public discussion. As soon as they were seen together for the first time at Charlie's Angels, the press went crazy. There were more than 200 cameras at the event, and some even offered $100,000 to get a picture of them kissing. Late-night artists and talk shows made fun of their relationship all the time, and the word cougar spread, and Demi was often called its poster child. The jokes didn't bother Demi and Ashton. They just laughed at the attention. In 2005, Demi was in a Saturday Night Live sketch that made fun of the obsession with their age gap by making her look old. Demi and Ashton's secret wedding in September 2005 took place at their home in Beverly Hills. Bruce Willis was one of the 100 guests. A lambin dress was worn by Demi, and a cream Brooks Brothers suit was worn by Ashton. They said their vows under a Kabbalah chuppah, which showed that they both believed in spiritual things. Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, Demi's daughters, read emotional letters to Ashton, which was a touching moment. As a sign of his love for their family, he gave each girl a Cartier love bracelet. The ritual is said to have moved Bruce Willis to tears. Demi and Ashton loved having a mixed family after they got married. They bought a house in Idaho and used it for family trips and theme parties. They spent a lot of time with Bruce Willis and got along well as co-parents. They even went on vacation as a big extended family. Bruce told Ashton he was great and that his girls had told him, "I love you," more than any other man. As a stepfather to Demi's girls, Ashton played a big part. He went from being 27 years old to taking care of 3 girls ages 17, 14, and 11 while they were still in school. He put everything into the part, going to their school events, shows, and even teaching them how to French braid their hair. Ashton said that he took parenting classes to learn more about his job. He said that love doesn't split up, it grows. He supported the girl's hobbies by making her movie The Whole 10 Yards and helping her set up her first Twitter account. Scout said that he made her love technology grow, which is what led her to study computer science. It wasn't always easy, though. Tallulah wrote later that Ashton's appearance at first confused her because she wasn't sure how to accept him as a father. It was even said that she had a crush on Ashton before he started dating her mom, which made their relationship more complicated. Even after he and Demi broke up, Ashton stayed close to the girls despite these problems. During her Dancing with the Stars performances, he openly backed Rumor and praised when she told everyone she was pregnant years later. In 2020, Ashton told them that he would always love and root for them. This showed how dedicated he was to the family he helped build. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were very happy when they learned they were going to have a child. While Moore was getting a regular checkup on September 23, 2003, she was 41 years old and 6 months pregnant. Their happiness turned to sadness. They learned that Chaplain Ray, their daughter, did not have a heartbeat. Moore was crushed by this loss. He had been clean for almost 20 years. She thought it was her fault because she drank and smoked a little while she was pregnant. Moore was very sad. She started drinking and taking painkillers like Vicodin to dull the pain when she got sad. Her weight dropped to 98 pounds, which is too low for safety. They did IVF and other things to try to have another child, but nothing worked. Moore was even more broken. In 2019, she said that she felt lost and empty during this time and didn't know how to deal with it. It hurt their marriage too that they had a loss. Kurt didn't fully understand how much Moore hurt. In her autobiography, Inside Out, she wrote that he tried to help her but couldn't understand how she felt. Their mental distance grew and began to hurt their relationship. They did some strange things in a last-ditch effort to save their marriage. In her autobiography, Moore wrote that they had even had threesomes because Kutcher asked for them. The fact that she did it made her feel bad, but she did it to make him happy. And not sure how their connection works. They also turned to religion for help. They went to the Los Angeles Kabbalah Center and even took a spiritual vacation in Israel. It didn't work at all. Moore's drug problems, the push to have a child, and the age difference between them all made things worse. When it was said that Kutches were stealing, things got worse. They were married for 6 years on September 24, 2011, and Kutcher is said to have shared the night with Sarah Leal, 52. Moore had met Leal before at a bowling alley, where she gave Kutcher her phone number in front of Moore and her daughter. Moore learned about the affair from a Google alert on her phone as she was getting ready for an event with a red carpet. Kutcher admitted it when she told him about it. Moore said she was shocked she couldn't breathe. She found out later that he had cheated on her before, with Brittany Jones, a woman who is 21 years old. Even worse, Kutcher tried to defend what he did by saying that their threesomes had made their partnership less clear. This made Moore's pain even worse. It got even worse for Moore when the cheating was made public. They were seen together at an event for their fund against human trafficking just a few days after the scandal broke. Moore had to stand next to Kutcher while he talked. It made her feel bad that she knew what he had done. Moore told everyone that they were splitting up on November 17, 2011. She said it was hard to make, but she had to because she had to stay true to her morals. It took almost 2 years to get a divorce. He filed for divorce in December 2012, and the divorce was finalized in November 2013. Moore later said that the end of their marriage was like a bad dream and hurt her self-esteem a lot. In an interview in 2023, Kutcher said that his split made him feel like he had failed. It was hard for both of them to get better because so much of their pain was shown to everyone. After she split up with Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore's life began to fall apart. She had been clean for almost 20 years, but things changed and she started drinking again. Turned into addiction. In January 2012, Demi had a seizure at a party at her house in Benedict Canyon. This made things even worse. It looked like she was smoking synthetic cannabis and breathing in nitrous gas. When someone called 911, they said she was shaking and only partially awake. It was a scary moment and the beginning of a very bad time for Demi. It got worse for her over the next 3 years. Up to 12 Vicodin pills a day and Red Bull mixed with vodka became her new habits. She was also crazy about her body. She would look at herself in the mirror for hours and tell herself she needed to lose weight. She lost so much weight that she only weighed 102 pounds. She was having seizures because she was stressed, tired, and hadn't eaten enough. She barely held on. During this time, Demi felt very alone. She stayed away from her friends and family and spent most of her time by herself. She stopped going to other big family events and missed her daughter Rumer's 30th birthday. At last, Demi went to rehab in September 2012, this time at Cirque Lodge, a fancy center in Utah. Every month, it cost $150,000, but she had to do it to start getting better. Demi's addiction hurt her more than just herself. It also hurt her relationships with her 3 kids, Rumer, Scout, and Tallulah. Demi and her children didn't talk to each other for 3 years because things got so bad. Tallulah, who was only 25, talked about how scary it was. She said it seemed like her mom changed into a monster. She remembered being worried every time Demi's behavior changed, like when her speech slowed down or she became too close. Because of the stress, Tallulah even developed an eating disorder and problems with how she looked. Rumor, who was 31 years old, was upset and angry. She said that her mom's drug use made her feel like something important had been taken away from her. She also talked about the scary time she had to call 911 to save her mom's life. Scout, who was 28, thought her mom didn't love her and felt abandoned. In the end, all three sisters quit talking to Demi in 2012. They didn't even go to her 50th birthday party, and Demi missed important events in their lives, like Rumor's 2015 appearance on Dancing with the Stars. They hadn't been friendly for years, but on November 12, 2015, things began to change. Tallulah, the youngest, had just left rehab after having a hard time with an eating disorder and drug abuse. She was very brave to talk to her mom. They hadn't seen each other in almost 3 years. She didn't wait around. She quickly took a plane to New York to meet her baby. It wasn't easy for them to get back together. The family talked about how hard things had been in a 2019 episode of Red Table Talk. Tallulah said she feels alone. Rumor has it that she used to get scared just thinking about running into her mom. Scout told him that she was mad and resentful. Demi took blame and said that her addiction problems had caused a lot of pain for her family. She tried very hard to make things better. For 18 months, she went to therapy and family counseling. When they went to a vacation in Arizona for a week in 2017, they made a big step forward. To feel better, they did workouts and meditated together. They get along much better now. On breaks, they all spend time together, talk to each other on social media, and even work on projects together. A surprise for Demi's 60th birthday in 2022, her girls got matching tattoos of the word mother written in her own handwriting. It was a lovely way to show how close they've grown. Demi stayed close to Bruce Willis as well, even after they broke up in 2000. They've shown that a split doesn't have to mean the end of a family. In 2022, Bruce's family said that he had aphasia. Demi was one of the first people to share the news and show her support. She has spent time with Bruce and his wife, Emma Hemming Willis, since then to be there for him. Demi went to Bruce's 68th birthday party with his family in 2023. There was even a cute video of everyone singing Happy Birthday together. It got a lot of attention and showed how close they are still. In 2019, Demi even went to Bruce's Comedy Central roast and made fun of their old relationship. She said, "I was married to Bruce during the first 3 Die Hard films. That makes sense since the last 2 were terrible. People loved seeing how they could make fun of their past. They've also been there for each other's new relationships." Before Demi's wedding to Ashton Kutcher in 2005, Bruce was at Demi's wedding to Emma in 2009. The way their parents stayed polite and loving was admired by their children. Someone once said that her parents' love for each other after getting separated is the best example of love she could have asked for. Since she turned 62, Demi's ideas about love have changed a lot. She told Vogue on her birthday in 2024 that she has learned that her relationship with herself is the most important one. She doesn't need anyone else to make her whole because she is whole already. She even made up a word to describe her new way of life, solo partnering. It means she's putting her attention on her own happiness and growth. There's no one she wants to date, but she's ready for love if it comes her way. So many people like this idea that the hashtag solo partnering was trending online right after the conversation. The way Demi dates is also different now. She only went on 3 dates last year, and they were all very well planned. One was with an astronomer she met at a TED Talk. In the Mojave Desert, they went to look at the stars. Even though Demi said it wasn't sweet, she'll always remember it because it was so important to her. To everyone's surprise, Demi has also become friends with Ashton Kutcher's wife, Mila Kunis. In fact, they formed a book club together and talk about life and books every 2 weeks. Demi has become so mature and accepting, and her fans love it. It's still possible for Demi to fall in love, but she's now sure of what she wants. She will fall in love with someone who makes her life better, not someone she thinks she needs to be whole. And they have to love her dog Pilaf very much, whose little Instagram star has more than 2 million fans.